So today I'm just going to give you a quick overview on my little wall mount machine on how to make buttonholes, and that's just because my normal machine is a straight stitch machine and doesn't have the capability to make buttonholes. So today it's not the most attractive piece of fabric, it's not the most attractive thread, but I'm going to show you how I did this. Let's go. With most domestic sewing machines you get a foot that looks like this, and this is your buttonhole foot. This is the front of the foot and this is the back, and that's because this can adjust, and that's where you'll put a button so that you know what size, so the machine knows what size you need to make the buttonhole. You'll put the buttons that you've been using or that you haven't sewn on your jacket yet, if it's a jacket or whatever it is that you're making, and you're going to just seat it into that back area like this. Your machine will have a variety of buttonholes and they'll be listed as stitches in the same way that you would select a zigzag or a blind hem stitch. So you choose the one you want. A standard one to use for me would be either 34 or 35 on my machine. I'm going to do 35 because it's the most regular looking. You also need to lower this buttonhole lever that's down here on my machine. So you probably have a little thing that looks very similar, to be honest. Most machines have one that looks kind of like this, different manufacturers, and you'll probably have wondered what it's actually for, and this is what it's for. It won't actually stitch out unless you have this lever down. So when I position my fabric on my garment or whatever it is I'm working on underneath the foot, I actually want it so that the bottom of the buttonhole is closest to me. This is because the foot will work backwards and then come back forwards again as part of the 4-step method, and really it's going to do the work for you now. So you're just going to lower your foot, you make sure your thing's down, you make sure your lines are aligning here and you've got the right stitch selected, and then you simply either press start if you've got a start button on your machine, or you put your foot on your pedal and you go. So what it's going to do first is it'll sew backwards to create a straight line, and then it'll zigzag over that line, and then it'll know how big it needs that side to be, and that'll be the left hand side. There's the bottom. That's how long the button's going to be, so it's coming back down again. Down the other side. Finishes the bottom off, and then it goes back up that other side, and then it'll finish the top. There you go. And then when it'll sort of slow down as it's tying the thread off. My machine doesn't actually cut off, so I have to just kind of keep my eye on it. So here's our finished buttonhole. We did have a different colour of bobbin thread, so you can kind of just see what the stitches and the quality of the stitches on the front. So what you would do next is you would get a small pair of scissors or your seam ripper, and you would make a hole in that fabric that's in the middle of those stitches. Let me grab a seam ripper, and I'm going to just make a little hole in the middle of that buttonhole there and just cut between the stitches. You don't want to cut the actual stitches. So that makes a little hole. It's hard to kind of show you while I'm actually doing it. I'm just going to use the blade of the seam ripper just to kind of push along. As I say, you can use a little pair of scissors if you prefer as well. I just snipped off the loose ends as well, and that's your buttonhole ready for a button. And here's just a quick check. I'm just going to grab the button that was on the back of the foot and have a look alongside that to make sure it's the right size. It's not hugely bigger. And it's not really tiny either, it's about the right sort of height, and it's kind of a bit of a little test of it going through. So that's how you make a buttonhole. I am planning on doing a zipper video as well. I've been asked for one of those. I haven't done one yet just because I haven't got to the point where I'm actually sewing one into a bag at the minute. I do have one on how to put insert pocket zippers in there as well, so like the interior zippers that you might get on a bag, but how I've modified that to have a little coloured strip around the outside as well, so you could check out that in the meantime. And then I'll create one about how you actually put a zipper in that's actually the main closure of the bag.